Good morning, plus one class. So, plus one commerce, you all are doing the chapter number 7, that is journal of your book. And here we are going to discuss about the different entries, the different concepts associated with entries, the combination of entries, and many more. So, first of all, before starting with the topic, let me first introduce with the learning objectives of this chapter. First of all, meaning of an account, then classification of accounts, double entry system, meaning of journal, rules of journalizing, simple and compound journal entries, advantages of using journal, and last is opening entry. Now, the different key terms which we are going to discuss here in this session today, that is casting, simple entry, opening journal entry, compound journal entry, cash transaction, business entity concept, trade discount, and cash discount. First of all, the casting, totaling, and carry forward. Usually, the number of transactions in a business is large and require a number of pages in the journal book. Amounts of the debit and credit columns on each page are totaled and carried forward to the next page. So, you all have been passing journal entries, and as I have told you in your online classes also, suppose that in a question there are about 15 to 20 transactions to be passed in one sum, and in that, if the number of transactions you are passing are not covered in a single page, then you have to take the totals of the same page to the next page. But to follow the same approach, in the particulars column, we will write total carried forward or total brought down. Totaling, proving, and ruling a cash payment, that is transferring of one journal page to carry totals forward. So how you have to do it? When you have made 4 or 5 columns, first column is of date, second column is of particulars, third column ledger folio, fourth column is debit in rupees, and fifth column is credit in rupees. Now in the second column, when a page finishes, we will first write the concept of total carried forward at the end and do the totals of debit as well as credit side. Then came the next page. So before starting the transaction, a new transaction on the next page, we will first brought forward the totals done on the last page, and we will write their totals brought down. So in this way, whenever a pages in a register, in a journal register ends, we have to take our totals carrying forward and totals brought down, and this concept is known as casting, totaling, and carry forwarding. Now it indicates that the total has been carried forward to the next page. In the particulars column, against the amount brought forward, the words total brought forward are written. So one should, before, you can see on the screen, I have posted here an example where journal book of Unreal Corporation is there, and in the starting, first of all, you have to write down the balance brought forward. BF stands for brought forward, that is from the previous page you are taking the totals here. And now when you make the new totals, you will take the aggregate sum of the last page and further add on the entries amount. Casting indicates that the total has been brought from the previous page. Further, transactions are recorded and amounts in 2 columns are totaled again. This process is followed till the recording of the last transaction is done. Each page of the journal is totaled to ensure that no mistake has been committed in recording the amounts. Remember, under the dual aspect concept, every debit should have a corresponding credit of equal amount. Now, some important considerations which we have to consider while making our entries. Suppose if a transaction relates to purchase or sale of goods and the name of the seller or purchaser is given and it is not stated that it is a cash transaction or a credit transaction, accordingly we have to write the name of the purchaser or seller. Suppose Mohan's account and then sales account. But if sales has been made to Mohan, then it will be Mohan account debited to sales account. Generally, in a business, there are different expenses, and it can be like in the form of buying of office supplies, payment of wages, business club association fees, the different utility bills, the expenses like building lease, rent, advertisement costs. So we have different types of costs associated with a business, and all those business can be in the form of cash or can be done on credit basis. Now another example, goods sold to Mohan for cash, it is the sale of goods against cash. So here our entry would be cash account debit to sales account. If there is a transaction of purchase or sale and the name of the seller or purchaser is not given, then it is taken as a cash transaction. If the word cash is written, then we will consider it purely as a cash transaction. If the name of the buyer or seller is given and cash is not written, then we will take the transaction as a credit transaction. But if neither the word cash is written nor the name of the seller is or purchaser is given, even then we will consider such a transaction as cash transaction. So another example here is very important, that is prepaid expenses. That is expenses which you incur in advance. Suppose your parents pay your school fees for the whole year in the beginning of the session. Now this is one kind of asset and they are availing the benefit throughout the year. So asset decreased in accordance with future economic benefits here. Expenses increased in accordance with future economic benefits here. So it should be recorded as an increase in asset. So its entry would be prepaid expenses account debited to expenses account. In nominal accounts, even if the name of the party receiving or making payments is given, it is taken to be a cash transaction. Now first of all, what is a nominal account? A nominal account means all expenses, all gains, all incomes and all profits. All expenses, all incomes, all profits, gains or losses, all are covered under one heading, and that is known as nominal account. Here the name of the party receiving or making payments is given. So it is taken as a cash transaction because every time you receive an income or you pay an expense, it is done in cash basis. Personal accounts will not be opened. Now if we talk about the personal accounts, that is representative persons, name of any person, right, like Ram, Sham, Geeta, any person, then they will be regarded as personal accounts. For example, if salary of 15,000 is paid to Ranjan, the transaction will not be recorded in the account of Ranjan. Instead, the salary account and cash or bank account will be affected. Now my transaction is salary paid to Ranjan. Salary is an expense, salary is a nominal account. So all expenses will be debited, salary account debited, and now 15,000 has been paid. It means cash is decreasing, so cash account will be credited. Credit what? Goes out. Salary account debit to cash account 15,000. You can see here in the chart also we have different types of accounts. One is real account, another personal account, and third is nominal account. Real account deal with all assets and liabilities. Personal account deal with different types of debtors and creditors, that is name of the persons and name of the business associates. And then the nominal account, it deals with the different items of profit and loss, that is income and expenses. Now, the next is introduction of capital in the business by the proprietor is credited to his capital account, whereas withdrawal of cash or goods for his own is debited to drawings account. Here we are talking about two types of main accounts which you often see in your numerical. First is capital account, another is drawings account. If a businessman, being the owner, the proprietor of the business, brings cash in the business, that is known as capital, and it will increase the capital account because cash is brought in the business. When the amount or goods are withdrawn, are taken out of the business, it means there is a loss, a reduction in cash or goods. And in that case, first of all, if the cash or goods are withdrawn for personal use, then the drawings account is debited. It may be recapitulated here that as per the business entity concept, that is, business is separate from the owner. An enterprise is separate from owners and transactions are recorded in the books of account from the viewpoint of business and not from that of the proprietor. We always record entries in the business from the viewpoint of the business only, not from the person who is the owner of the business. Now, the very important, let us summarize again what is debit and credit. So these are the key parts of any accounting entry. One part should be debited and another part should be credited. These are the fundamental effects of each financial transaction for maintaining correct accounting records. Here we have to follow the three golden rules. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So generally the first rule is followed for real accounts, which consist of assets like building, land, road, machinery, plants and many more. In the second rule, it follows on personal accounts, that is of partners, shareholders, capital, drawings, customers and many more. In the third rule, that is based on nominal accounts, it consists of all incomes and expenses and also the part of profit or loss. Now we have main 5 accounting elements, that is clear, CLEAR. C stands for capital, L stands for liability, E stands for expenses, A stands for assets and R stands for revenue. We have 5 main elements which are abbreviated as clear, CLEAR, capital, liabilities, expenses, assets and revenue. Now, when we talk about capital, it refers to the paid up capital of a company along with the equity shares. Then the liabilities. Liabilities are credits. They indicate the amount payable by the company to creditors such as bills payable, loans, OD. OD stands for overdraft. Then we have with us expenses. Expenses includes all expenditure items incurred such as rent, cartage, electricity, postage, travel, stationery, bank charges, etc. Then it's assets. Assets are normally debits. They are company's movable and immovable property and goods like cash and bank balance, goodwill, furniture, etc. The last we have revenue. This shows the income received by a company by way of sale, interest and so on. So these are the 5 important accounting animals on which accounting entries are based. Now another section of journal, that is simple and compound journal entries. Journal entries are of 2 types, simple entry, compound journal entry. Simple journal entry is a journal entry in which only 2 accounts are affected. One account is debited and other is credited with an equal amount. Now if we talk about assets, if assets are increased, they should be debited and vice versa, they should be credited if they are decreasing. Expenses are debited if they are increased. Expenses are credited if they are decreased. Liabilities are credited when increased. Liabilities are debited when decreased. Equity and revenue also are credited when increased and are debited when decreased. Now, the next is compound journal entry. It's a journal entry in which more than two accounts are affected. That is, one or more accounts are debited and one or more accounts are credited, or vice versa. For example, a sale of 5,000 is made to Satish. It is discharged by Satish by paying rupees 2,000 in cash, balance to be paid later. So, another example here, the office furniture, cash and accounts payable have been included. Now, a compound journal entry is when an entry in which there is more than one debit or more than one credit entry. So, in this example, there are two credit entries and one debit entry. Now, note that the totals of the debit and credit columns must equal to 700 here, because we have to take the total of credit, and every transaction, whether it be a simple simple journal entry or a compound journal entry, your debit should always be equal to your credit. And now, in the example where Satish has to pay 2,000 in cash and balance later, our entry would be cash account debit 2,000, Satish account debit 3,000, to sales account 5,000. So it's a kind of compound journal entry where we have two credits and one debit. Now the next one, that is trade discount. Trade discount is a discount allowed by the seller on purchase of goods in large quantity. It is normally allowed by the seller to the purchaser, who further sells goods to the consumer. It is deducted in the invoice from the sale price and is not recorded in the books of account. Here the sale price is also called list price. So trade discount is generally applied on list price. It is in between the buyer and the seller only, and it is not shown in the books of account. Sale is recorded at net value, that is sales price less trade discount. Thereafter GST is levied. We impose GST after deducting trade discount. Trade discount is allowed on sales. Therefore, it is allowed on both cash sales and credit sales as well. For example, Amit sell goods to Vikas for rupees 10,000, allowing him a trade discount of 20%. It is subject to a levy of CGST and SGST at the rate of 9% each. So, when you apply 20% on 10,000, it will be 2,000. Now, from 10,000, we will deduct 2,000 first, that is 8,000. 8,000 is the amount which is to be shown in the books of Amit and Vikas both. Now, upon 8,000, we will apply 9% each, that is 720 each. It is 1440. Our total amount becomes 8440. 8440 is to be paid by Vikas and is to be received by Amit. Next term is rebate. Rebate is also a reduction in the value of goods sold allowed by the seller of goods, but for the reason other than which trade discount is allowed. Rebate is a big reduction in the value of goods sold. Now, a discount is given on the instant payment or the instant dealing, but a rebate is offered for many reasons. You can take here the example of change in season. Like suppose now you can say summer season is about to off, and you can see in the market that everyone is offering season sale of flat 50%, buy one get one free, or you pick any one get one free, pick any two for rupees 300, pick all three for rupees 500. So what is all these? That's a kind of rebate offers. So here rebate is a reduction in the value of goods sold allowed by the seller of goods, but for the reason other than for which trade discount is allowed. First of all, discount. It is given to encourage high volume buying, prompt payment and so on. But a rebate is given for reasons such as inferior quality, delayed delivery, etc. For example, rebate may be allowed for poor quality of goods sold, goods being not as per specification. It is different from trade discount, as trade discount is allowed on higher volume of goods purchased by the purchaser, and rebate is allowed for reasons other than higher volume of goods purchased. Now, discount and rebate. Discount is an allowance given by the seller of goods out of the selling price of goods, that is called trade discount, or a reduction or allowance out of the amount payable, which is called cash discount. So, discount is of two types. One is trade discount and another is cash discount. Third figure here, that is rebate, on the other hand, is a reduction in the value of goods sold by the seller for reason other than for which discount is allowed. So now here we will differentiate between customer's rebate and customer discount. You can see on your screen that both customer rebate and discount are termed as customer reward. Customer rebates represent a return of some portion of a retail price, where discount reduces the retail price before it is applied to a customer purchase. Customer rebate is accounted for as a reduction in sales revenue, a marketing expense, customer membership program expense, or bill back which does not hit stock ledger. Discount accounted for as a reduction in retail value taken within a retail transaction, and it affects your stock ledger also. Customer rebate does not alter retail price, but discount alters your retail price. Customer rebates typically means earnings specified in monetary terms. So in discount, it may be specified in monetary terms, in points, in miles, or other reward currencies. So these are the basic differences between the customer rebate and customer discount. Now, rebate, like trade discount, reduces the sale value of goods for the seller, and for the purchaser it reduces cost of goods purchased. Since at the time of sale of goods, output GST was credited in the books of account by the seller of goods, therefore at the time of allowance of rebate, output GST is reversed. So there are some cases in which GST is given back. Suppose you buy the goods and here you are returning the same goods. When you are buying the goods, input GST is imposed, and if you are returning the goods, your GST will be reversed and output GST will be charged. Then, for example, on January 1, 2013, a company purchased a computer costing rupees 1000 from a supplier and issued a check of rupees 3400. The excess amount fully settles a previous amount owed by the company to the supplier. That is, company has to get previous amount also. So one amount 1000 for current issue and 2400 for any previous issue. Since the total payment of 3400 comprised of rupees 1000 for computer and the remaining 2400 for past payable, this transaction may be recorded in two separate journal entries: debit equipment and credit cash for 1000 each, debit payables and credit cash for 2400 each. Alternatively, it is much faster and intuitive if we record the above transaction as a single compound entry as follows. So your compound entry will be debit equipment account, debit payables account to cash account. That is, equipment account debited 1000, payables account debited 2400, to cash account 3400. So here is another example which will help you to clarify the concept of compound journal entry. When 3 or more than 3 accounts are required in one journal entry, the entry is referred to as a compound entry. See, in this example, delivery equipments are there, cash is there, notes payable is there. So they have purchased truck for cash and notes payable. What do you mean by note payable? Few amount of the truck is paid in cash and some amount of the truck is not yet paid. It is still payable. So that's why it is known as note payable. So here, instead of writing the truck, we will write delivery equipment. Delivery equipment account debited 34,000, to cash account 8,000, to note payable account 26,000. Second example, when we talk about FGH company, suppose if they have obtained a loan of rupees 10,000 at the rate of 12% on July 1, 2019, the loan was repaid on December 31, 2019, the year end of FGH company. Interest expenses on loan would be 10,000 into 6% into 12% for 6 months. Loan was raised on July month and year ends on 31st December. So here from the month of July, August, September, October, November and December, that is a period of 6 months. Now interest will be charged for 6 months, not for whole 1 year. 10,000 into 12%, that is rate of interest, multiply by 6 by 12 and your interest amount is 600. In such a case, the following journal entry will be passed. So here loan payable account debited 10,000, interest on loan account debited 600, to cash account 10,600. So why the different kinds of journal entries are passed? First of all, journal entries helps you to ascertain the financial position. They help you in giving a comparative study. Journal entries help you to systematic do the concept of bookkeeping. Journal entries make you to reduce fraudulent activities. They help you to clear bills payable, to recover bills receivable, to determine the profits earned by a business, to accurately make book of accounts, and to clear your all debts due to the tax authorities. Now the next example, suppose a balance sheet is given to you for 31st March 2017 and the different balances are given. Closing balances of assets like 50,000 for furniture, 2,50,000 for plant, 25 lakhs for land, 3,30,000 for vehicle, 50,000 for copyright, 80,000 for debtors, 35,000 for cash and 2,75,000 for bank. So these are various closing balances. Now you can we people know that there are three main statements which are used to represent the financial analysis of data. How we can record the financial activities is done through three main statements. Statement of cash flow, which consists of three types of cash investments: operating cash investment, investing cash investment and financing cash investment. Income statements consist of revenues and expenses. A difference of revenue and expenses, that is revenue minus expense, is either equals to your profit or loss. And in a balance sheet we record all assets, liabilities and equity. So equity is the amount invested by the owner, that is known as capital. Now in this you will also cover the adjusting entries. Adjusting entries are those journal entries that are made on the last day of an accounting period to ensure that accounts are in line with the accrual method of accounting and the matching principle. We need adjusting entries because we want to ensure that income statement only reports revenues, losses, expenses that is earned or incurred during accounting period. We need adjusting entries to record the receivables and liabilities in balance sheet to represent true amount. Adjusting entries helps the company to calculate exact revenue, exact expense, to update the financial statement, to fix errors and to calculate exact expense. we have different types of adjusting entries: accrued expenses, accrued revenues, deferred expenses, deferred revenues, then depreciation expense, doubtful or bad debts. So we can say here adjusting entries affects one real account and at least one nominal account. Further, it should be noted that all entries that the company records at end of an accounting period are known as adjusting entries. So moving to the previous example we were discussing, on the liability side we have capital of 9,90,000, bank loan of 15 lakhs, mortgage loan of 10 lakhs, creditors of 80,000. So in this case we have to pass a single entry that is known as opening journal entry. And here your entry will look like in the same manner. 1st April 2017, furniture account debited 50,000, plant account debited 2,50,000, land account debited 25 lakhs, vehicle account debited 3,30,000, copyright account debit 50,000, debtors account debit 80,000, cash account debited 35,000, bank account debited 2,75,000. So all the different assets have a debit balance. Now we will write the credit balances here. 2 capital account 9,90,000, 2 bank loan 15 lakhs, 2 mortgage loan 10 lakhs, 2 creditors 80,000. So here we will write the narration at the end, being all closing balance last year transferred to new financial year opening balances. Or you can write a very simple narration here, being opening journal entry past. But here you have to consider the totals of debit and your totals of credit should always be equal. Class, you have already done in few numericals in your online classes. Suppose if the capital is not given and your debit side is more but credit side is less. So we will balance the same by writing capital account. On the contrary, if credit side is more, debit side is less, to balance it we will write goodwill account. Suppose if the goodwill account is given to you, capital account is also given to you, but your debit and credit side are still less. Either of the side is still showing less amount. In that case, we'll write a suspense account. Now, in opening journal entry, the closing balances of the previous year, which consist of different assets and different liabilities, are transferred to the opening balance of the next year. Closing balance of year, suppose this is year 2020, closing balances of 2019 will be opening balances of 2020. Now, according to the going concern principle of accounting, going concern means that your business will continue as long as possible. There is a never ending approach to a business. Business has a long life means for the number of financial years. Every accountant finalizes the accounts of the business at the end of each financial year. These final accounting statements carry all final closing balances of all accounts of assets, liabilities and capital. In the next financial year, an accountant has to transfer this closing balance by posting a journal entry. This journal entry is known as opening journal entry. Now, in opening journal entry, we have debits and credits. All last financial year closing balance of assets because these accounts had a debit balance. Credits, all last financial year closing balances of liabilities and capital because these accounts had a credit balance. So, in debit we will write assets, increase in assets, decrease in liability, decrease in equity and increase in any expense. But if you follow the credit system, decrease in asset, increase in liability, increase in equity and increase in revenue is recorded. So here accounts are increased and decreased with a debit or credit. Now, what are the various benefits of passing an opening journal entry? First of all, to activate the next session of accounting. After passing this journal entry, an accountant can connect all previous records with the current record. Suppose if we want to pay rupees 10,000 but we have not passed opening journal entry, bank account will show a negative balance. So by passing opening journal entry before any other journal entry, we can connect the previous year 1 lakh balance of bank with current year account of the bank. Now you have to practice few questions, few numerical. Question number 1. The opening debit balance is as under: furniture 60,000, building rupees 10 lakh, Mr. Rajang 15,000, Miss Reina 25,000, plant and machinery 1 lakh 50,000. The opening credit balances are: capital rupees 10 lakh, bank loan 2 lakh, due to Mr. Curry is 50,000. So for this you have to pass an opening journal entry, debit all the assets and all the debit balances on one side, and on another side credit all the items. If there is a difference, you can balance the same by writing the capital account, goodwill account, or you can even write suspense account as the circumstance arises. Now the second question for practice. Asset side of the balance sheet shows the following balances: land and building 15 lakhs, furniture 2 lakh 50,000, vehicle 3 lakh 50,000, goodwill 1 lakh, debtors 3 lakh. Liability side of the balance sheet shows the following balances: capital 18 lakh, Mr. Ram's loan 5 lakh, and creditors 2 lakh. So here in this question, your total should be equals to 25 lakhs. If it lacks, if your totals of debit and credit are not equal to 25 lakhs, then you have to add a suspense account to balance your opening journal entry. So here your chapter number 7, that is journal, is ended, and further we will discuss about chapter number 8, that is ledger. How to post different items in different ledger accounts, that is separating the journal into different parts. In journal we have a record of the number of debtors, creditors, purchase, sales, a number of transactions under one head, that is journal. Now when we segregate separate each and every account under a single heading, land account separate, furniture account separate, vehicle account separate, capital account separate, creditor account separate. So in that case we will make a different set of accounts which will be known as a ledger. So this was all about journalizing the transactions. Thank you class.